Hello, everyone. How are you? I am Stephanie Van Bark, and I am a business owner. We were running a little late, and I have to apologize for that. We typically are not ones to run late, but we're having some technical difficulties. So if you could work with us a little bit, have a little flexibility, we will try to get our guests up and going as quickly as possible. As I mentioned, I'm Stephanie Van Bark. I'm a business owner. I'm a small business owner. And of course, we started this show because we wanted to support small business owners by allowing other small business owners to tell their stories. And in doing so, we would be teaching one another. And I'm very grateful for this show because it's taught me a lot as a business owner for sure. I've got a couple of exciting announcements. I'm trying to see if I can keep the conversation going a little bit. First of all, we have embarked upon 100 shows. We've been doing this for a minute, and I am so grateful for the many of you who have tuned in to check out our many guests. You cannot know how special this experience has been for me, to have people really tune into what we're doing and appreciate it. So if you want to see some of those 100 shows again, they are still in the stratosphere. You can go to YouTube, to Stephanie Creates. It's a Just Talking Business podcast. Or you can go to Spotify. We also have an audio as well as Apple. We definitely try to make sure we keep this information out there just because we want to make sure that we are both highlighting these special people who are willing to share their stories with us. But they just have such interesting information to bring to the table. So we think that's going to be definitely worth listening to many, many, many times over. The second thing is we have started a spinoff in-person show, actually, at the Center for Black Innovation. Our first show was last week, actually, with a gentleman who is the owner of Manger restaurant. His name is Christian Dominique. And this show is it's called Bootstraps to Millions. It's meant to speak to business owners who've been able to be what we would deem successful, I guess, and been able to really grow their business into $1 million business and or more. So we are learning from those who figured out the formula. And what we learned last week is you never really figure out the formula. So you just keep working at it and working at it until you get where you want to go, and definitely fill all of the information that you can, or fill your cup up with passion and tenacity and grit, and just might be the success that you want it to be. So his show is being streamed, or was streamed, on our Facebook page, Just Talking Business, in which we ask you to subscribe either to any of them, actually all of them. We want you to really subscribe and tune in as often as you can, because I promise it's going to be a wealth of information. But yes, if you go to our Just Talking Business Facebook page, you will find that show, and it will definitely be worth your while. What else can I tell you? Another exciting thing that's happening for me personally. Have to say I'm humbled and terrified and excited all at the same time. Next week, on June 13th, at the Historic Lyric Theater in Historic Overtown, we will be premiering, not me personally, but and TEDx Overtown will be having its first event. And I'm a speaker. So I'm not a producer, but I am a speaker. So I hope you'll come out. I hope you'll check it out. And it's called Bootstrap. I'm sorry, I'm all mixing stuff up. It's the TEDx Overtown speech around legacy and progress. So we hope you will tune in. So guess what? Our guest is here. Woo! Hey, turn your mic on.
Wow.
I was like, what else can I talk about? What else can I talk about?
Wow.
So welcome. And I thank you for definitely, chiming in and agreeing to be a member, be on the show. I typically give sort of a brief introduction, but I'm gonna let her tell you who she is and what she does. But what I will tell you is most of y'all know my beloved Overtown. Talk about it all the time. Well, this young lady is actually working for an organization that is an anchor here. And you're from this neighborhood, correct?
I'm from Miami.
Yes, yes, yes. So I want to make sure that we highlight that. Go ahead, tell us who you are and what you do. I guess we can see on your shirt.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for having me on today.
Mhm.
Everybody, my name is Rashada. I am the Director of Operations with Girl Power Rocks here in Overtown, and it is just such a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you for joining us. My first question, you know, this is a business show, but I don't know that we all really understand how nonprofits work, which is your organization. Can you just kind of give us a fundamental look at a nonprofit business model so we kind of know how it operates as opposed to a for profit?
Absolutely. So, a nonprofit organization typically provides a service for people, the community. And although it is nonprofit by name, it is not a place where you do not make money. I just want to clear that up for everyone. And
Thank you.
not a place where business does not happen.
Mhm,
Nonprofit organizations, it is an organization, but you must run it with fidelity. You actually are held under more strict guidelines and obligations and rules being a nonprofit because you receive a lot of government funding,
mhm,
local funding, and also funding from your donors and the community at large who are actually trusting you to do
mhm, mhm.
what you say you're going to do with the money that they're donating for you with those dollars.
So who would the organization be beholden to? So for profits, we have investors. Who would be that person you have to answer to say I'm accountable in this way?
So for me, who we have to answer to are the girls that we serve, which are
Okay.
here in Miami Dade County. I know that we do have funders who provide us with dollars, and we have a board of directors who really are the folks that are at the top of a nonprofit organization. However, our clients to me is
Mhm,
we, you know, are keeping our standards up to par, providing a certain level of care that we provide. It's the girls. That's who we're
okay.
here for. At the end of the day, without them, there would be no us.
Okay. So what would be your, I know with nonprofits, generally your main, or I guess your main revenue stream would be grants, but are you able as a nonprofit able to sell things as well as, or would that cause you some kind of complication or challenge?
So we are able to sell, for instance, merch like the shirt, like the shirt that I'm wearing, and it does go towards our fundraising efforts. Of course,
Okay.
dollars that we get, it doesn't provide enough funding for all of the things that we need covered. There are just some things that you cannot ask a funder or get from grant dollars that are just, it's just never enough to cover all of the things that we cover. So we have different fundraisers, or we do sell merchandise, and even sometimes we get what they call in-kind donations, and that
Okay.
can be people donating their time, their talents, services towards the nonprofit, which in turn, it is like receiving the money. Like, let's just say you have someone who is a makeup artist, for instance,
Mhm,
and normally to go and get your makeup done, it's $100 to $150.
mhm,
Well, if we have someone who donating their time and their services to do the makeup for two of our girls that are, you know, in a performance, and they're doing it for free, that's $300 of in-kind service that they're providing for us.
yeah, yeah, very. So now how it's interesting with a nonprofit, I feel like you have to have a very strong marketing strategy, but a marketing strategy that targets different pools of people. What I mean, who are you typically trying to connect with and make aware of your program and why?
Absolutely. So of course, like you said, there's levels to this thing, right? So there are donors that you want to appeal to, and why should they give you dollars? So marketing happens a different kind of way for those people. Of course, you have to market to the community at large. Hey, we're providing this program. Refer refer your students, refer your children, bring them to our program because it's a great place to be. And then there's marketing that happens on the level of the girls that we are servicing. Why is girl power the best place for you to be? What
Right.
makes it look fun? What makes it look like, like I said, a place that you want to be? So marketing happens at a lot of different levels. I even, like to tell my team, it's not just women that we are trying to appeal to. We have
Mhm.
to appeal to guys as well. And believe it or not, there's so many guys out there who support the work that we do. They
Mhm.
have daughters, they have mothers, and they're just dedicated to the cause of everything that we do, and making things that are appealing to them. Like for instance, for at our brunch and swing weekend, the golf course is filled with guys who support
Right.
girl power. So making
I can
that
imagine that.
not an event, oh, it's just going to be a bunch of, well, a lot of them, well, some of them do want to be where a bunch of women are, but
Right.
making it look like an event that it's only for women is
Okay.
a different strategy that we have to take to, appeal to that audience as well.
So you've been in existence for, if I read on your website correctly, 20 years.
We are
Uh,
years old,
how many?
24 years old.
I missed it. Okay, I read it wrong. Congratulations. You're about to be at that 25 mark. That cannot be that is definitely not an easy feat for sure. So talk about that. Like, over have you been with them 25 years? I imagine you have not. If I know your story, we'll get into that a little bit later. But definitely been around
I've
the
been
organization.
around since the inception of Girl Power. However, working in being paid for Girl Power,
Look
it's
at that.
been 14 years that I've been here.
And what have you seen in terms of the evolution? I mean, I've watched your organization just become really, in a way, I feel like a powerhouse in this space that serves young girls. How have you had the time to sit back and kind of go, wow?
Absolutely, Stephanie. Thank you so much for that question. And yes, I have been able to see the organization evolve. We used to be in one building with one program in the front classroom and another program in the back classroom, administration in between, seeing the organization go from, a $200,000 annual budget to almost, well, not almost, we're over $1 million, almost.
Congratulations!
So
Congratulations!
it has been on the job training, it has been growth. And I will tell you, I during the pandemic, we
Mhm.
saw this increase of um, just services that were needed more than what it appeared on the outside. When
Right.
there's so much stuff to do, it's you can get lost in what's happening in the world. So when the pandemic happened, we had to apply for more funding because we needed more people to really get this work done. And
Right.
I remember we were about to turn in a grant, and it was our first federal grant, and I'm like, Lord, prepare me for growth, prepare us for
Mhm.
growth. You apply for these big dollars, you're hoping that you receive it, um, but the preparation has to happen, and it happens
Mhm.
so fast, so quickly. From two programs, one in the front and one in the back, where now it's seven different sites throughout the.
Right. I
So
see.
Absolutely. It's been and we're still growing, and I know that there's more to come. We have projects coming along. So
Very cool, very cool. But you mentioned the pandemic, and I was around this neighborhood during the pandemic, and it was interesting. Just everything shut down. What were some of the pivot plans you had to put in place, and how quickly were you able to implement them?
wow. So virtual was the pivot plan.
Right.
And I remember the day, we were actually going headed to a college tour. We were taking our girls to Atlanta. We were
Really?
about 2 days away from departure date to Atlanta.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah. And
So
I'm
you got to tell a bunch of girls we can't take you.
thinking, but I am the envelope pusher. I'm like, no, we can still go. Let's do it. And they're like, Miss Rashada, girl, no, the world is that. And, and
We can make it.
it's funny when they say, always, if you can't figure something out, go to the youngest person
Mhm,
room, and they're able to like figure out this technology. And I will tell you, yes, our young people do come with the tech savvy.
mhm.
However, Miss Thima's leadership, she is the oldest person in our organization, but her leadership of, of strategy, her leadership of, you know,
Yes.
hey, you go and do this, you go and do that. And she just kind of assigned us in where our strong suits were. And I
Mhm,
will tell you, like, I'm the money lady. Like, I'm looking at budgets, looking at,
mhm,
hey, what funding do we have? Who has devices? And I will tell you, by the end of the week, we were
mhm.
operational.
Nice.
Operational
Very nice.
operational, and it's like, okay, next, how are we going to get these kids devices, because our team is prepared,
Yeah,
ready to serve. And some of the homes that the girls were in, we're like, no, 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 no,
yeah.
they need to be engaged. And she did that. She
Right.
did that.
Very cool. Very cool. So, what other challenges? I mean, nothing's like the pandemic. That was definitely a straight pivot plan. But what other challenges do you find that you encounter, maybe as a nonprofit or just as the organization itself, that you're sort of always in, trying to maneuver the landmines?
So in nonprofit, I will say, not maneuver,
Mhm,
but to me there's certain things that you have to um, have certain standards with. Um,
mhm,
and
mhm.
number one thing I will tell you, for me, is compliance.
Okay.
Compliance.
Mhm,
Having your stuff in order
mhm,
is what sets you aside in this world of nonprofit. I-
mhm, mhm.
In for profit as well, but having your being in compliance is such a big thing. Are you
Right.
taxes?
Yeah.
Are you filing? Are Do you have a 990? You
Right.
know, um, just simple little things. Are you turning in your reimbursements on time? Are you giving reports to your donors? Um, People, these are the things that you. It seems like it's not all the time, but it's constant, and you have to make it a part of your everyday, every month, every quarter life.
Mhm, mhm. And is that your primary job to make sure you're hitting those marks?
That is Miss Rashada's. I
We
I
gonna
am operations, and
but
it to
but
me
that is so important because unlike a for-profit, because you're dealing with federal dollars, when you don't hit those parameters, that could be a real problem.
it can be a big problem. It can be the problem that gets your funding taken.
Right. Or worse. I've seen some worse. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Want to make sure your stuff is in order.
And I think that's, someone starting a new nonprofit, I think that's the most important thing you really need to be in tune with, and make sure you try to find a mentor who can help you guide through those processes, because it really is, you are accountable, as you mentioned, to a client, and all of those dollars have got to serve that client in some way.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so I'm gonna be nosy just a little bit, but I know the answer. But so you mentioned Miss Thema, who is the executive director of the organization. Her personal relationship to you is.
Oh, that's my mom. Mama. So
So listen, I've had a couple of husband wife teams on but this is first mother daughter, and I can imagine, you know the couples that I have dealt with have it's maybe one person or both, have said they had to figure out how to work together in a dynamic that was completely different from the relationship you have as mom and daughter. So how have you two, was that something formal y'all sat and talked about, or did you have to learn it along the way?
So I will tell you exactly how that went. Um, so when I would come down from school
Mhm.
for summers and work in the summer camp, voluntold in the summer camp.
I had that mama too. I get it.
Absolutely. Um, so I remember this was maybe like the first, second day, and I'm like, Mama, such and such. She called me into her office and she's like, at work, I'm Miss Thema.
Not your mama.
I am not your mom. And it's just something that, like, it's like, tell me the thing. Okay, cool. I got it. And so
Mhm.
I would have to, I had to condition myself to say Miss Thema, Miss Thema, Miss Thema.
Mhm.
And it's so funny because I have actually had people working for us for years. Okay?
I
Years.
think you're a mother and daughter.
Never knew. Never ever knew that we were mother and daughter because we I am Miss Rashada, she's Miss Thema at work. Although I will tell you, Miss Stephanie, she definitely be pulling some mama favors on me at work. Pulls some favors.
It's just like,
Pulls mama
why
favors.
is that my job now?
She really hard all the time, okay? And
I can call you at night. Like, Rashada, did you? I know it. I
that's what
know it.
we had to do. We had to create boundaries.
Right.
From when does work cut off? Because she will tell me we're doing the budget tonight at 10 p.m.
Wait,
It's
seriously?
okay, y'all. I gotta.
Right. Because my mama just told me, who is also my boss, just
Yeah,
told me I got a budget due.
absolutely. But creating the balance and creating
Mhm.
boundaries also. When does work stop? You
Okay.
know, it's a real thing. When does work stop? Because when you are right there and the person has access to you, they it's like there's no boundary there. So we
Mhm.
had to create that boundary, and I will say that I took the lead in doing that and
Okay.
leading by example, like stopping with the calls at a certain time with her,
Okay.
or even you know showing her the way I treat other employees
Right.
also. Like, hey, that person doesn't start work until this time. This is the time that I'm gonna call them. I'm not gonna, even though I know they'll answer. No, I'm not doing that. But
Right.
hmm, she'll call me, and then she'll text me, and then she'll
Right.
call the other phone and text that phone too, and do a
And
group
she know where you live.
call.
Come on, mama.
I'm off.
That's what I said. That's what, I know she watching. So we
She probably is. She probably. It's
we
so.
in trouble now. We in trouble now.
It's
So
so.
how does the staff handle it? Like you mentioned, there's one, some people that didn't know you two were mother and daughter. How does the staff relate to you in particular? You know, with understanding that the boss is your mom.
Right. And so we have a nepotism policy. Um,
Hmm.
in orientation, we let everybody know that this policy is in place to prevent people from feeling like, oh, it's her daughter.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, people don't know who work with us. And not until one of her friends comes to the office and says, "Where's your mama?" And like,
And they were like, who?
your mom is here.
Why would your mama be here?
Yeah, I've had that. And so we try to display just a certain level of, um, you know, it's professional. This is work,
Mhm.
and a certain level of what I call it. I'm lost for the word, but it's just like to let people know that this is work. Miss Thema is not my supervisor. I do not report to her. Don't think that you are going to come here. Like, if you want to get to know me and be friendly with me because you just truly want to, get to know me.
Mhm.
But sometimes people will come and it's like, oh, let me get to know her and get close to her so that I can get good grace with the
Right, 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 right.
our door is right there. We have an open door policy. Get to know her, get to know me, and this work, and it's a boundary. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the programs. I was kind of interested as I was doing some research to learn that in this giving charitable space, you know, girls who, probably have some of the most challenging um, problems throughout in the world, actually, um, it is not one of those areas that's strongly invested in or funded. So why girls? Why did y'all feel like girls was the place you needed to be?
Mm. Well, Miss Thema, she co-founded another organization here in Miami. It was called Concerned African Women. It
Okay.
was the organization that I grew up in. Her and my aunt Kiani and Aunt Latricia. That's the organization that I grew up in. While she was there, she noticed all of these things with girls, uh,
Hmm.
all of these just things that were going on unanswered, unaddressed, and things that we've gotten away from, like rites of passage and separating separating the sexes.
Right, right, right,
It
right.
need amongst your sisters to
Hmm.
have the personalized care. We are all sisters because, of course, when you bring in the opposite sex, it just changes the dynamic.
It does.
So she saw all of these things happening with these girls, being arrested, their low
Mhm.
test reading scores, and she said, "Hey, these girls need some specific help that is centrally only focused on them."
Yeah. Hmm.
That's how girl power, that's how it all started, and just the rest is history.
So
um
as you are growing, have you had to be sort of the expert in this area to train others about the need? It's almost like you have to craft the messaging for the entire industry that girls need support.
Absolutely. um all things girls, right?
Mhm.
We use trauma informed services, we
Mhm.
gender specific, and sometimes we do get people, no, a lot of times we do get people who are coming into the organization, whether they're a funder or an employee, even sometimes parents even coming into the organization, and getting them to understand what these needs are for the girls that we serve. And
Hmm.
I want to put a drop a quick line in reference to hard to serve girls, right?
Right. Right.
Everybody that we come across or enroll in our program does not want to be there, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
the term taking leading the horse to water, but you cannot make them drink.
Oh my. Hop back on. I'm gonna sit right here for a little bit and talk until you come back on, because you were just into the juicy information part. So we are having a little bit of technical difficulty, but don't go away. We are definitely going to hang out for a minute to see if we can get her to hop back on. Because yeah, it was just really good information. But yeah, in my research, I did find that very interesting. But then I thought about it. If you think from a worldwide perspective, you know, women do still struggle in all societies, including ours. And there is, I mean, right now, today, we have people, challenging the medical circumstances that affect women, um, with no consideration for listening to the women. And we're supposed to be a free society. And so it did really strike me that we have a ways to go when it comes to really meeting all the needs of young women, young girls, older women. Um, it just is a challenging circumstance, and especially when it comes to having outside sources really fund young women as they advance from young girl to adult. So yeah, that was very interesting information to find. Let's see. I had a couple more questions, and I really wanted her to tell us about the event she has coming up. They have coming up on Saturday. So let's hang out for a while if you don't mind. Um, I'll keep. I was just telling her right before the show. Actually, I understand this technology thing. I remember I had a show with a friend of mine, actually, who was in the film industry, who had started Michelle Jamie and her partner at the time, whose last name was Pena. I got to go. I think it's Jacqueline Pena. I got to go back and check it out. But my internet would not work, so they had to hold down the fort for the 30 minutes. So they, start showing some of their product, and I was like, thank God I had film people on here because they knew to keep the ball rolling. So yeah, we're gonna do that for a minute. We hope you will stay tuned in. We hope you're enjoying the show. I have to say, I'm learning a lot, especially about that nonprofit world. In the nonprofit world, that's always, I work closely with nonprofits, but sort of the inner workings, it's just interesting to learn how differently they have to operate, and especially in circumstances of reporting, and being accountable for the funds that you receive, and the people that you serve. So good information. Good information. Um, so what else? Is there anything else I want to make sure you know? For there she is. Yay, yay, yay.
So
I'm trying to keep it going.
the technology is technology, and tell you.
Well, it was like I said, let's keep it going, and she'll hop back on, I'm sure. And you're right when you were in the middle of good, juicy
Right,
information.
right. Oh, wow. So sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
So I was talking about the hard to serve girls and
Mhm.
leading the horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. And explaining to even mentors, especially because these are women who are volunteering their time,
Mhm.
making a commitment for 1 year, 4 hours per month. And
Right.
they're like, I am all the things that you need. I've gone through the training. I've done my background check. I am
I
ready
will
to
save
serve.
you.
Absolutely. I'm ready to serve this hard to serve girls. And I have to explain to them, you know, if a girl doesn't answer the phone,
Mhm.
or you make arrangements with a parent to spend time with your mentee, and you've driven all the way from North Broward
Mhm.
to their home, and they um they went to get their hair done,
Mhm. It's
and these kinds of things that happen.
right.
However, of course, we do training with the parents. We train with the mentees, and we have a mentoring coordinator in place to kind of facilitate the
Mhm.
hiccups. However, to certain people, it's like I provided all of the things. I gave all of the things. I did everything right. And why isn't this person taking the medicine that I'm trying?
Right. Right.
The whole
Right.
population that we're talking about. This is, getting those. How many yeses do you have to get on the phone for them to actually be able to show up? Uh,
Right. Right. Yeah.
you have to um, be able to translate that to funders, to donors, to volunteers, to parents and students as well.
Do they hear you when you are having those conversations? Or is that kind of just one of those repetitive scripts you have to keep?
You know what, Miss Stephanie? They hear us.
Okay.
They
That's
hear, they're listening. It may not click in that moment.
hmm
It may not click in that second. Miss Stephanie, it may not click that whole year.
hmm
It may not click for 2 years. But it's about planting these seeds.
Uh-huh.
And remember the what was that? The chia pet. You plant the seed and then
Right,
you
right, right.
grow. This ain't no chia pet situation.
Exactly.
Water it, circle back, water it. Like you just have to plant your seeds and know that a flower is gonna
It'll
come.
grow. I
The
was in a meeting once with a nonprofit who had to share with a funder, you know, it, it's hard for you to have certain requirements when you're dealing with, in some cases, young kids that haven't had a meal or, have such a troubled home situation. You kind of got to figure that out before you can have these other challenges. And that was eye opening for me because you just kind of sometimes meet people where you think they are, which is usually where you are. You don't understand there are different levels. Exactly. You just walk in like they're like me.
right, and it's way, and I like to tell people that success looks very different for everybody.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, some girls, they can start the school year with all F's and they are now a straight A student.
Oh, cool.
Some kids can start the school year with having 10 suspensions the year before.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
right. And this year, they've only had CSI 10 times.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's
That's
growth.
success. There
That's
that is. That is.
using their tools. It's not someone looking at the situation on the outside may say, CSI or indoor suspension, nobody should be there. That's still bad. And understanding that that girl received the tool of, if somebody looks at me wrong, I don't have to go and fight her.
Right,
Or if somebody um, is saying something to me on social media, I can
right.
hit the unfollow button.
And walk off. Yeah, yeah.
That is progress.
So
Because
what is your benchmark? Like, are when you are, I guess, rating yourself as an organization, when do you feel like, okay, we've achieved our goal?
absolutely. I will say that's two parts. There is no seriously. because there is a certain expectation that our funders are looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
These
Mm-hmm.
girls will improve or maintain a certain grade point average or a certain level of improvement. So we use our measurement tools like report cards, checking attendance, grades, progress reports. We also have pre and post surveys as well
Okay.
for the different curriculums that we facilitate. We have parent testimonials, we have parent surveys as well that we use,
Mm-hmm.
and also just word of mouth. Our
Okay.
our instructors are full time in the schools, so they are there
Mm-hmm.
the whole day.
Yeah.
If something happens with a girl, power girl, they are right there on site to be right on it. You get
Right.
me? And that girl that they say, oh yeah, she needs to be in this program because she just fast and she out of control. I don't know what to do with her. And just hearing all those negative things about that girl when she before she starts to all of a sudden, or not, sometimes it's not all of a sudden, but
Mm-hmm.
seeing the attitude towards administrators
Change.
towards that girl, having
Mm-hmm.
a principal, um the girl that a principal recommended, oh she needs to be in this program, she's terrible,
Mm-hmm.
to showing up to an event to see that girl receive an award.
Very nice.
That's
Very.
those are some of the things that we cannot, you can't put that in a grant application,
Yeah.
but you know that that's making a difference. That girl has improved her, whether it's her social skills or her attitude towards school or adults or authority, whatever the situation may be. So the measurement tools look different.
Uh-huh. For what you look at and what the funders may look at.
Right, but
Yeah.
it makes me feel good to know that a girl improved her school. It makes me feel good inside, and also my reports to my funders. I want to make sure that we looking good, that we are making an improvement.
Right.
You know, when people start working with our organization, I always tell them, hey, we're not collecting report cards and progress reports just to add it to the file. Yes, it should be in the file. However, you should look at that and see, wait a minute, you had two tardies. Why were
Mm-hmm.
the class?
Right. Right.
But you shouldn't be late.
Right.
Why you're not getting up in time? Oh well, my mom, she works late and da da da. I need a ride from this person. Wait. You have a challenge with getting to your school.
Hmm.
Let's see
Up that. Yeah.
what is that challenge.
Right.
Okay, and see what resources, because the girls, they don't have a lot of advocates,
Mm-hmm.
and we teach them how to advocate for themselves and also be an advocate for their parents who may not know how to advocate for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you have a big event coming up this weekend. I want you to tell everybody all about
Oh
it.
yeah, we have Girl Power Day at the Urban, which is located in Overtown. Everybody may know the Urban from Rise and Toast and those awesome doo-wop parties.
It's
Well,
gonna be a
girl,
little different this time.
doo-wop is my favorite party. Um, so Girl Power is taking over the Urban. It is Girl Power Day at the Urban this Saturday, June 8th from 6 to 10 p.m.
Okay.
Urban Philanthropies, or Mr. Keon Williams, who is the director there at the Urban, has donated his space, his resources to Girl Power to get the word out there, to be a friend raiser of ways that people can help girls in and throughout Miami-Dade County. And so it will be a day of celebrating women and girls. No, the event is not for the children. Do not.
Don't bring the babies.
Children.
For the grown-ups. Men and women, but for the grown-ups.
People party. So we
And I've
want,
been to a couple of them. They're really nice. They have really nice parties. They're nice parties. Okay,
listen.
that's another point. That's another point. Go ahead.
So we are celebrating that day. Women and girls who are just doing incredible things
Mhm.
throughout Miami-Dade County. We are inviting our friends. We're inviting our family. We are just inviting.
Oh, no, come back. Come back. Your audio went down, but I still see the well, I don't see your picture. But if you're let me see. Unmute mic. Huh? Won't let me unmute the mic. Huh. So okay, everyone. There she is. There she is. There she is. There she is.
We're back on. I'm so sorry. What?
That's right. That's okay.
Why? Why
This has been
today?
this is an adventure today, isn't it?
Why?
Well, before you go, I just wanted the last question to be: how can we find you?
Girlpowerrocks.org online. We're at Girl Power Miami on every social media handle. That's X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We are there at Girl Power Miami, and our website again is girlpowerrocks.org. We are in the Comer Center in Overtown. If you want to drop by, it is a community resource center. Lots of resources there, and it's an awesome place for us to be. I love it.
It's smack dab in the heart too.
it
So they are smack dab there. You want to go to the heart of Overtown? That is where you go.
Listen, Miss Thema always say, Overtown won't let you down.
Nope, nope, it will not. It will not. That's true. That's why I'm here. So thank you so much for coming out. I know, we were trying to figure out that technology piece, and I'm sorry I wasn't much help.
It's
But
oh no,
I'm
no,
not
for
technically
your
savvy.
patience. Thank you for your. I appreciate it.
This is a really good interview, actually. I think I definitely learned a lot, and I hope our audience did too. So we will be in touch. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
No problem. Thank you so much, Stephanie, and I'll see you Saturday.
Yes,
Everybody out in support.
yes, I will come and check out what's going on.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye. So, thank you everyone for tuning in. We learned a lot today. I always, again, the nonprofit space is definitely an interesting space to me. But it is business. I know people think a lot of times it works and operates in a different way, and it does, but it is still all business. So, we will see you here again next Thursday, right here streaming, where we will be talking to a filmmaker who's going to give us the ins and outs of distributing his new movie. So please tune in. We will see you soon. And thank you again for tuning in to Just Talking Business. You have a great day.